We'll solve some problems. The planet Mars has two moons, Phobos and Deimos. Phobos has a period of 7 hours 39 minutes and orbital radius of 9.4 into 10 to 3 kilometer. Calculate the mass of the Mars. Second one, with the Martian orbit being 1.52 times orbital radius of the Earth, what is the length of the Martian year in days? ಮಂಗಳ ಗ್ರಹ ಮಾರ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎರಡು ಮೂನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಒಂದು ಫೋಬೋಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಡೈಮೋಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಫೋಬೋಸ್ನ ಟೈಮ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಫ್ ರೊಟೇಷನ್ ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ 7 hours 39 minutes ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಅದರದ್ದು ಆರ್ಬಿಟಲ್ ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ 9.4 into 10 to the power of 3 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಮೀಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. With these data we have to calculate what is the mass of the Mars. ಮಂಗಳ ಗ್ರಹದ ತೂಕ ಎಷ್ಟು, ಮಾಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೇಳಿ. What is the Martian radius orbit being, with the Martian orbit being 1.52 times orbital radius of the Earth, what is the length of the Martian year in days? That we are going to find out. Now solution. Now what are the given things? We will list out first. The orbital period time t is equal to, that is 7 hours 39 minutes. Now we have to convert it into seconds. 7 into 60 plus 39, so it is 420 plus 39 is equal to 459 minutes. Therefore in seconds it is 459 into 60 seconds. It is the orbital period of that Phobos. Its radius is also given, that is r plus h, the orbital radius. In the case of Earth we have written it as re plus h. Now here it is r plus h, that length is given. It is 9.4 into 10 to the power of 3 kilometer. Since it is in kilometer, you convert it into meter, that is 9.4 into 10 to the power of 6 meter. Now G we know, the universal gravitational constant, it is a constant 6.67 into 10 to the power of minus 11 Newton meter square per kg. Now what we are going to calculate? Mass of the Mars. ಮಂಗಳ ಗ್ರಹದ ಮಾಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಯಬೇಕು. ಮಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಅರ್ತ್ ಗೆ me ಬರೆದಿದ್ವಿ, ಮಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಮಾರ್ಸ್ ಗೆ mm ಅಂತ ಬರೆಯುವ ಹೇಳಿ. Now in order to find the first one, we know the formula. The square of the time period of revolution is proportional to cube of the semi-major axis, that we know, and also we have derived the expression for time period. Now t square is equal to 4 pi square divided by g m of m, mass of the Mars. G is universal gravitational constant, into it is r plus h whole cube, that we have studied. R plus h whole cube, it is the orbital radius cube. So square of the period of revolution is directly proportional to the cube of its radius of the orbit, that we know. So from this one, what is m of m, mass of Mars, is equal to, it is 4 pi square r plus h whole cube divided by g into t square. Now substitute the known values and given values. Now it is 4 into pi, I am writing it as 3.14 whole square into r plus h, that is given 9.4 into 10 to the power of 6. So it is 9.4 into 10 to the power of 6 whole cube, okay, divided by G, universal gravitational constant, 6.67 into 10 to the power of minus 11 into the period of revolution. It is 459 into 60 square. Now take the calculator and simplify. We will get mass of the moon is equal to 6.48 into 10 to the power of 23 kg. If you take the calculator and simplify it carefully, now multiply all the terms in the numerator and multiply all the terms in the denominator, then divide it. We will get mass of the Mars as 6.48 into 10 to the power of 23 kg. Now this mass is almost equal to that of mass of the Earth. Little bit mass of the Earth is 10 to the power of 24. Now here it is 10 to the power of 23. That is the difference. Now this is the first part. Now second part, what you have given, with the Martian orbit being 1.52 times orbital radius of the Earth. That is, if the ratio of orbital radius of Mars with respect to Sun to the orbital radius of Earth with respect to the Sun. Now S is the Sun, M stands for Mars. S is the Sun, here E stands for the Earth. Now their ratio I have given, it is 1.52. 1.52. From this one we have to calculate what is the length of the Martian year. Martian year, that is time period of revolution of T of M. That you have to calculate. Now by Kepler's third law, that is T square proportional to R cube. The square of period of revolution is directly proportional to this cube of its semi-major axis, or if it is circular in circular path, it is proportional to radius of the circular orbit. So from this relation, so Tm square divided by Te square, if you take the ratio, period of revolution of Mars square divided by period of revolution of the Earth square, it should be equal to RSM divided by cube divided by RSE cube. Since these two are proportional, if you take the ratio, the constant, that is 4 pi square by gm, get cancels in both the cases. Therefore finally we left with Tm square divided by Te square is equal to RSM cube divided by RSE cube. Tm square divided by, what is the period of revolution of the Earth once around the Sun? It is 365 days. Is equal to, this ratio I have given 1.52 to the power of cube. Therefore from this one, what is Tm after taking the square root? You get 1.52 to the power of 3 by 2, because you have taken the square root, 3 by 2 into, it is 365. Now take the calculator and simplify this one. Therefore after simplification, the time period of revolution of the Mars around the Sun in number of days, it's found to be 684 days. So for the case of Earth, 365 days counts for 1 year. But for the Mars, it takes 684 days to go once around the Sun. Therefore Martian year has 684 days. Next problem. From the given data, obtain the mass of the Earth. You have to calculate mass of the Earth in two different ways. ಎರಡು ಮೆಥಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅರ್ತ್ ನ ಮಾಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಗಿವನ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಲೆಟರ್ ಜಿ, ಆಕ್ಸಿಲರೇಷನ್ ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ಗ್ರಾವಿಟಿ 9.81 ಮೀಟರ್ ಪರ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್. RE, radius of the Earth, it is 6.37 into 10 to the power of 6 meters. It is given in meters. Distance of the moon from the Earth, that is R is equal to 3.84 into 10 to the power of 8 meters. T for moon, that is period of revolution of the moon around the Earth, it is 27.3 days. Now these are the given data. Now here T is given in days, so convert it into seconds. So that is equal to 27.3 into Now how many hours per day? It is 24 hours. And how many minutes per an hour? It is 60. Then how many seconds per minute? It is 60. Now if you multiply 27.3 by 24 into 60 into 60. Now 24 stands for number of hours in one day. This is number of minutes in 1 hour and number of seconds in 1 minute. Now that becomes total time period in terms of seconds. Now we have to calculate what is the mass of the earth in two ways. Now the first method, we know the relation between small letter g and capital letter G. That is, small letter g is equal to capital letter G me, mass of the earth, divided by radius of the square of the radius of the earth, Re square. We have this simple relation. Now from this relation we are going to calculate what is the mass of the earth. Now what is me from this relation? Therefore me is equal to small letter g Re square divided by, it is capital letter G. Simple relation. Now substitute and simplify. Small letter g, it is 9.81. Re, radius, now this is 6.37 into 10 to the power of 6 square divided by G, universal gravitational constant. It is given capital G, that is 6. We know that one, 6.67 into 10 to the power of minus 11, that we know. Now take the calculator and simplify it. Take the calculator and simplify this one. We will arrive at 5.97 into 10 to the power of 24 kg. Now take the calculator and simplify all these things. We will get 5.97 into 10 to the power of 24 kg. This is one method of finding the mass of the earth. By this one, they say that Henry Cavendish, who performed an experiment to find the value of G, with that one he has measured the mass of the earth. Therefore there is a saying, Cavendish weighed the earth. Okay. Now the second one method of finding the mass of the earth. Now with respect to the time period of revolution of the moon, we know that the square of period of revolution t square is equal to 4 pi square divided by GME into R cube. According to Kepler's third law, t square is equal to 4 pi square divided by GME into R cube, where R is the radius of that circular orbit of the moon. So from this one, what is me, mass of the earth, is equal to 4 pi square R cube divided by G into t square. Now substitute the values and simplify. It is 4 into 3.14 whole square into R. This is distance of the moon from the earth, 3.84 into 10 to the power of 8 whole cube divided by G, 6.67 into 10 to the power of minus 11 into t square. Now we have to square these terms, 27.3 into 24 into 60 into 60 whole square. Now take the calculator and simplify it. First simplify the numerator and simplify the denominator and divide numerator divided by the denominator. If you make that calculation, we are going to get, it is 6.02 into 10 to the power of 24 kg. That is the mass of the earth. In one method we are getting 5.97. In the another method we are getting 6.02. Almost those two are equal. Next concept, energy of an orbiting satellite. Now we have an Earth of mass ME having a radius RE. Now consider a satellite here of mass small letter m, which is at a height h from the surface of the Earth. Now it is revolving with a velocity v. It is revolving in a circular orbit with a velocity v, that we have known. We have derived the expression for orbital velocity. We know that is v square is equal to g me divided by re plus h, that we have derived in the previous session. If this is the velocity with which the satellite is revolving, then what is the kinetic energy? So K stands for kinetic energy of that moving revolving satellite of mass m is half m v square, that is equal to half m, substitute for v square from the above expression, g me divided by re plus h, that is the kinetic energy, or I will rearrange the terms, is equal to g me small m divided by 2 into re plus h. So that is the expression for kinetic energy of a satellite revolving in a circular orbit of radius re plus h. This one step. Now we will work out what is the potential energy of the system of the satellite and the Earth. Now potential energy, that also we have already derived, is given by the relation minus the gravitational constant g, mass of the Earth and mass of the satellite, divided by the distance from the center of the Earth, re plus h. So this is kinetic energy and this one is the potential energy, that we have already known this one. Then what is the total energy of the system? Now total energy of that satellite is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy. Now kinetic energy, it is g me m divided by 2 times re plus h minus potential energy is negative, g me small m divided by re plus h. Now here g me m divided by re plus h, and here also it is constant, therefore we left with 1 by 2 minus 1. If you remove this common term here, therefore E is equal to g me m divided by re plus h is common in both the terms. So we left with half minus 1. What is half minus 1? It is minus 1. Therefore total energy is given by minus of g me m divided by 2 times re plus h. That is the final expression for energy of a revolving or orbiting satellite. Now one very interesting thing we have obtained here, it is the total energy is negative. What is the meaning of total energy is negative? That orbiting satellite is always bound to the Earth. It is always bound to the Earth. If the kinetic total energy is equal to 0 or positive, what will happen? If any case, if this total energy becomes 0 or it may be some positive value, what will you understand? Then this orbiting satellite is able to escape from the Earth gravitational pull, that we know while deriving the expression for escape speed. ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಆ ಸ್ಯಾಟಲೈಟಿನ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ 0 ಬಂದು ಅಥವಾ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಬಂತು ಹೇಳಾದ್ರೆ ಅದು ನೋ ಲಾಂಗರ್ ರಿವಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅರ್ಥನ ಗ್ರಾವಿಟೇಷನ್ ಪುಲ್ ಅನ್ನು ತಪ್ಪಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತದೆ. adu. And one interesting thing you should remember, you should know from these two relations. Now this is kinetic energy and this is the potential energy. They are having the same terms, GMEm divided by RE plus H, GMEm divided by RE plus H. Here it is half, it is 1. So from these two relations we can understand that this potential energy is 2 times the kinetic energy with a negative sign. Potential energy is 2 times the kinetic energy with a negative sign. Or kinetic energy is half of the potential energy with a minus value, because kinetic energy can never be negative. It is always a positive quantity. This relation you should remember for solving the problems. The last concept in this chapter, geostationary and polar satellites. Now we are already familiar with the time period of a satellite revolving around the earth. That is t square is equal to, it is 4 pi square divided by capital G ME, that is mass of the earth, into RE plus H whole cube. That we know, we have derived that one. According to Kepler's third law, the square of period of revolution of a satellite around the planet is directly proportional to cube of its radius of the orbit, circular orbit or semi-major axis that we have studied. Now if you write the expression for RE plus H whole cube, it becomes, it is GME t square and divided by 4 pi square. If you rearrange it for RE plus H, and if you work out RE plus H is equal to, it is cube root of this one, GME t square divided by 4 pi square to the power of 1 by 3. Now after substituting the value of capital G and ME, and if I take t is equal to 24 hours, capital G value substitution ಮಾಡಿ, ME mass of the earth substitution ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು t is equal to 24 hours ಅನ್ನು substitution ಮಾಡಿ simplify ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ I am getting RE plus H is nearly is equal to 35,800 kilometer, or roughly 36,000 kilometer. Now what is the importance of this one here? Now consider the earth. Now we have an earth here. Now this is the earth. Okay. Now we have fantastic earth. It is revolving in which direction? It is revolving in west to east direction. Earth is revolving in west to east direction. Now this is the earth we have. It is revolving. Now this is the axis of rotation of the earth. Now it is revolving in this direction, west to east. Now this is the east, this is the west, and north and south. We know that one. Now what is the equatorial plane of the earth? Now this one, so that represents the equatorial plane of the earth. Now if I place a satellite at the equatorial plane, a satellite is revolving in the equatorial plane, whose orbit is in the equatorial plane, and if I place that satellite to this height, 35,800 kilometer above the earth, then that satellite appears to be fixed with respect to the earth. Even though earth is rotating, The satellite is also revolving in the same direction of the Earth, and it is placed at a height of 35,800 kilometers, and it has a time period of 24 hours, which is same as rotation of the Earth about its axis. If that is the case, then that satellite appears to be fixed with respect to a reference point on the Earth surface. And those type of satellites, we call them as geostationary. Geo means Earth, stationary, it is at rest, appears to be at rest with respect to Earth. Therefore, the name is called geostationary satellite. Then what is the geostationary satellite? A satellite revolving in the equatorial plane of the Earth with a time period of 24 hours in the same direction as that of the rotation of the Earth is called geostationary satellite, and it is placed at 35,800 kilometers. A satellite in the equatorial plane having a time period of 24 hours rotating in the same direction of the rotation of the Earth is called geostationary satellite. Sometimes they are also called as geosynchronous satellites because this orbit is synced with the rotation of the Earth about its axis. Now Earth is rotating with a time period of 24 hours. Therefore, satellite is also revolving with a time period of 24 hours. Therefore, that satellite appears to be fixed, and those satellites are called geostationary satellites. What is the use of these geostationary satellites? They are mainly used for communication system. One important is communication. Communication purposes, telecommunication, mobile communication, all type of communication purposes these satellites are using. And second one is they are used for weather forecasting. They are also used for weather forecasting. These are the two important applications or uses of geostationary satellites. In a radio transmission, we have a point-to-point transmission. With a higher frequency, those frequencies are short waves. With a higher frequency, they are called as short waves. They are reflected by the ionosphere. But for this telecommunication, TV communication or TV broadcasting, they are having a larger frequency. They could not be reflected by the ionosphere. So in those cases, those signals they are sent to this geostationary satellite, and that in turn it is going to reflect those signals to the 1/3 of the area of the Earth's surface. One geostationary satellite, it covers 1/3 of the Earth's surface. Therefore, we need 3 such geostationary satellites to cover the entire Earth's surface. ಒಂದು ಜಿಯೋಸ್ಟೇಷನರಿ ಸ್ಯಾಟಲೈಟ್ ಅರ್ತ್ನ 3ನೇ ಒಂದು ಭಾಗವನ್ನು ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಇಡೀ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಅರ್ತ್ ಅನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆಗೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕಳಿಸಬೇಕು ಹೇಳಾದ್ರೆ ವಿ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ 3 such satellite. If I have one satellite here and another here and another here in the triangle shape, now all the 3 covers the entire earth and the signal is covered to all entire world. Now these are the uses of this geostationary satellite. Now, first satellite launched by Russians in 1957, and India tried and India launched its first satellite in 1975. This is in 1957 October 4. Russia launched a satellite, and India launched a first satellite, Aryabhata. Its name is Aryabhata. In April 1975, it launched, it tested, and later onwards, all countries are launching geostationary satellites, and India is also has launched geostationary satellites named as INSET. Indian satellites. INSAT series satellites are all geostationary satellites. They are placed at this height and they appear to be fixed with respect to the India. Similarly, all other countries are also launching those geostationary satellites. Main users are these two things. And also, there are one more type of satellites. Now here, geosynchronous satellites or geostationary satellites, they are revolving at the equatorial plane. Remember, they are revolving at the equatorial plane and they are revolving from west to east direction in the same direction as that of rotation of the Earth. Earth is also rotating from west to east. In the same direction it is rotating. There are some more types of satellites. They are called polar satellites. Now these satellites, they are revolving in the polar region. Now this is the polar region. Now this is the polar orbit. Look at the diagram. Now this is equatorial plane. Equatorial plane or equatorial orbit. Those are geosynchronous satellites are revolving. And there are some satellites which are revolving in the polar orbit. Since they are orbiting in the polar region, they are orbiting in north-south direction. And they are orbiting at a lower altitude of a height of 500 to 800 kilometers. They are orbiting at a lower altitude of 500 to 800 kilometers compared to that of geostationary. They are orbiting at 35,800 kilometers height. Now, in order to send a satellite to this height, we need a powerful rocket. So, in India, we are using GSLV, Geosynchronous Satellite Launching Vehicle, that sends the satellite to this particular height. But for polar regions, since their altitudes are only 500 to 800 kilometers, we are using a smaller rocket. They are called as PSLV. Now these are launched, geostationary satellites are launched by the rockets GSLV, and polar satellites are launched by using a lighter rocket called Polar Satellite Launching Vehicle PSLV. In India we are using them. Since their altitudes are very low, 500 to 800 kilometers, obviously their orbital speed becomes faster. We know, we have already studied. If the height increases, the orbital speed decreases. If height decreases, orbital speed increases. That we know. So since the height is very smaller here, 500 to 800 kilometers, their orbital speed becomes more, such that it can rotate just in 100 minutes. It completes one rotation in 100 minutes. That means very simple. These polar satellites are having a time period of around 100 minutes. These polar satellites, since they are revolving at an altitude of 500 to 800 kilometers, very low, they are having a time period of 100 minutes. They cover the Earth by strip. Since they are very near Earth, they are covering only a smaller region in the pattern of strip. Now this is the strip. They are covering one strip. In the next rotation, they are covering the second strip. In the next rotation, they are covering the third strip. In the next rotation, they are covering the strip. So for each and every rotation, they are covering the Earth in the form of a strip region. Since they are very close, those cameras will get a high resolution picture of the Earth. So because of this high resolution pictures, and also they are covering the two poles, North Pole as well as the South Pole, so they are mainly used for remote sensing. Remote sensing purpose, and they are used in meteorology, and they are used in the study of environment of the Earth, in the study of environment. of the earth surface. For these three applications we are using polar satellites. Okay, and the last concept is weightlessness. The last concept is weightlessness. What is weight? We are already familiar with weight. It is the gravitational force experienced by an object of mass m. A mass experiences a gravitational force due to the earth gravitation, and that gravitational force experienced by a mass is called weight, and that weight is given by m into g simply. Now I am standing, my weight is m into g. I am experiencing this weight because according to Newton's law, now gravitational force is acting downwards. At the same time, astronauts revolving in a space station. A space station is revolving at around 200 km right above the earth surface. If the astronauts were present inside the station, they are under free fall. They will experience a zero gravity. Because of that one, they are wandering. ಅವರು ತೇಲ್ತಾ ಇರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ಕಾಣ್ತದೆ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿ, ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಗ್ರಾವಿಟಿ ಝೀರೋ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಗಾಗಲ್ಲ, ನಮಗೆ ಗ್ರಾವಿಟಿ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಅರ್ತ್ ತನ್ನ ಗ್ರಾವಿಟಿಯನ್ನು ಕಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಿ ಹೇಳಾದರೆ then we are also starts flying. Every object on the earth surface starts flying if earth loses its gravity. So that is the meaning of weightlessness. And this weightlessness also we have observed in the case of while we are playing in a giant wheel. ಚಕ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆಟ ಆಡ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಆ ತೊಟ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಳಗೆ ನಾವು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ವೆಯ್ಟ್ಲೆಸ್ನ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ವೆಯ್ಟ್ಲೆಸ್ನೆಸ್. ಅದೇ ಮೇಲಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಭಾರ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತದೆ, ಅದೇ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಇಳಿತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಹಗುರ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತದೆ, ಏನೋ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಇಲ್ವೇ ಇಲ್ಲೇನೋ, ನಾವು ಫ್ರೀಯಾಗಿ ಬೀಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವೇನೋ ಅನ್ನೋ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಫಿನಾಮಿನನ್ ಆಫ್ weightlessness. Now that completes this very interesting chapter, gravitation.